Hey, good to see you. Welcome back. This is Global News Morning. No doubt the winter months and the freezing can play havoc on a house and the condition in the roof. Here to talk about what you need to know for the fall and how to winterize your home is our good friend, Mr. Matt Lee. How you doing, sir? How are you, Matt?
I'm great. How are you?
Very well. Thanks for joining us.
Good.
And yeah, winter can do a number on a home. Explain.
Yeah. Well, first of all, happy Thanksgiving. I mean, I think that everything, we started to see that the leaves really started to change. And as soon as we see that happen, then we have to really start thinking about closing the house up properly so that one, we protect the house. And the other thing is that if you're thinking of selling, you want to make sure that nothing gets damaged in the meantime, and and it's just constant maintenance. So I think that going through a list of, a checklist to make sure that everything's taken care of is the best way to kind of approach this. Starting at the top is a good idea. So I'd say cleaning your gutters. I was at a house the other day and they had a bit of a tree growing out of the gutter because there was so many leaves that had turned into a little bit of dirt. And if you leave that too long, it will block those gutters. The water will either fill up and could track into the roof, or it will pour over and lean right against the side of the house. So if you have that water lean against the side of the house, it will create that divot, and we always want to keep that water away from the house. What this is doing is it's going to create a pool. So we want to make sure those gutters are clean. You got those extensions away from the house, get that water running away from the house.
And even invest in perhaps those eaves trough covers.
I've seen those, and I had them on our last house, and they are good. When you get a torrential downpour, it will pour over as well. So I look at those. Make sure you look into the ones that you're getting, and make sure that they will withstand that downpour that will go into the gutters, but it will keep that stuff out. So you can get that hook that goes on an extension of a hose that you can clean that out, so you don't have to go up. You could hire somebody to come over and clean out the gutters by hand, or you can get those covers.
Yeah,
So those are the three things.
perfect. What else would be important for preventative measures?
We're going into, time change is coming. So you're going to hear about smoke detectors and carbon monoxide detectors. This is just an extra reminder. I think that, nowadays, sometimes we don't have batteries to change those smoke detectors. Change the battery ones that you can. The other thing is that the ones that you can't change and they have those lithium batteries, you want to check the date on it
Hmm.
because they're only good for 10 years. So you want to make sure, did they sit in the store or in a warehouse for 3 years? That doesn't, just because they were installed on, you know, 5 years ago doesn't mean you have 5 years left on them. You want to make
Interesting.
sure you're checking them, push the button, make sure it's working, and yeah, just make sure that everything's safe because you're going to be turning on fire, like you're going to be turning on the furnace, you're going to be turning on those gas fireplaces. You want to make sure that the smoke alarms are working properly.
And check around the foundation for cracks. I know cracks in the fall will lead to major damage by the spring.
That's right. So, you get these cracks, and water is very powerful, right? So, you get the water goes into the cracks and then it turns to ice and it creates a bigger crack. So it's just this constant thing in our climate that if you have a small crack and you don't address it, it's going to get bigger because water's going to get in there and it's going to create it to just expand. And you want to make sure that you deal with it either with an epoxy, or you have somebody come in and they will grout it properly. So those things are the two pieces.
If it's a small enough job, is it a do-it-yourself repair?
Yeah, it depends on. Yeah, is it in the foundation? Is it in the sidewalk? Is it something that is not? If it's not structural, then yeah, you can definitely look at that for sure.
Okay. And what else you have?
Clean the fireplace and chimney. So we're looking at cleaning the fireplace and chimney. Kind of ties in with the furnace as well. So you're going to have the person come. If you're going to use a fireplace, you don't know if a bird made a nest up there in the summer. You don't know, did you use a little bit of wet wood last year and it created a hump where you've got some creosote in the chimney. I would say get that cleaned out, make sure that it's fine before you light that up, because that creosote that might have been damp and creating a spot has now dried out. So it took that whole summer where it would dry out, and it could create a fire. You don't want a chimney fire. You want to make sure that's clean. So have the chimney cleaned, fireplaces, even gas fireplaces. If you turn the gas fireplace off, we have spiders in Kingston. They crawl into very small places. They could create a nest, and you don't want to have that fire in a spot that you're not expecting. So you want it to stay just in that contained area and go from there.
Yeah,
So
fires no good, spiders no good.
that's right.
No.
Make sure it's cleaned out. Yeah, exactly. Furnaces, fireplaces, and have the AC checked while they're there. I would say that changing the furnace filter is one thing, but having them clean the furnace, make sure that it's maintained properly. I would have that done while they're there doing a gas fireplace. So windows and doors, we want to talk about those as well. Just quick, I would say that make sure that they're caulked properly, and that because if you get snow coming in and kind of sitting against somewhere, you want to make sure that it's caulked properly and doesn't drip inside that caulked area. Like if it's cracked, it will drip in.
A good way to test if there's any leaks or drafts is to take a candle and watch the flame around the window. I guess if it's blowing, you have a problem.
That's right. So you can, if you're on the inside and it's a windy day and you have a candle on the inside and you are questioning whether the window is actually losing air and that you're getting a draft, you can see it by putting that candle in front of the window.
Okay.
So shutting off and disconnecting your hoses from outside. You have your garden hoses, disconnect them. A lot of people have these turn off shut off valves and they push the water back inside the house. I would go the next step and I would actually use an actual shut off valve inside the house, turn that off, let the hose drain or let the tap drain, and then turn that extra one off. I find that sometimes maybe they don't push the water far enough back, and you will get a potential crack between that frost-free tap and the copper line or the PEX line that could run water down inside the basement.
All right, all great tips and advice to know now to prevent any major damage in the spring. Too bad we just couldn't fast forward to the spring right now, huh, Matt?
That'd be great. We'll bypass the winter. Yeah.
Sadly, we got to deal with it. Always good to see
That's
you, my
right.
friend. Take care.
Bye now.
Real estate tips brought to you by Matt Lee of Royal LePage.